Hello, Collective. This is a timeless reading of yours. Please bear in mind a few things while we get ready for the reading. I am Master Seventh, aka Seventh, that reads these energies for you, should you want to know who she is, what she's all about, and what I have to offer. There is a link in the description box below. Bear in mind that there are other various links within the description box to help you navigate this channel, and gain access to my sister channel. Alright, all the content on both are timeless for your viewing pleasures. I'm getting glimpses of that tarot card in there. It's twice that I see the Tower card just hinting away. Okay. There's like a nervous tension in the atmosphere, like an uneasiness, an uncertainty. It probably has a lot more to do with however politics plays a role in your life, whether that's privately or socially, life politics, political politics, philosophical politics, just politics. Alright, we're starting with the High Priestess. So, yeah, this is about embracing the unknown and allowing oneself to swim in uncertain waters that you more or less intended to find out about. So now you're tossed in it and you're being tested with your spectrum of well-being in regards to emotional intelligence. How can you use the things that you think you know to help you process this unknown time? King of Wands, yeah. How do you look at the wisdom of the High Priestess and report to him or her with passion and charm, while also addressing that you're angry and passionate and frustrated and you need to do something with this energy that you're feeling? We have the Queen of Swords. She's more or less looking the opposite direction of the King of Wands energy. The King of Wands in this non-gender specific reading, of course, is looking again at the High Priestess, saying, what am I supposed to do with all this energy that I feel? I feel this fire burning in my chest. I'm feeling this anxiety growing in the pit of my stomach, and the Queen of Swords is saying, I am your keeper. Okay, I am the one you can lean back towards, and I will be your support. I will be your eyes when you think you cannot see. I will, she's literally raising out her hand. She's like, I will show you what I can, and she's not afraid of speaking her tongue. So these energies of both feminine and masculine energies are what the High Priestess is in charge of, according to this reading. She's in charge of illuminating that which it is that you think you know, and figuring out how much of that you know, and how well you know it, and how truth versus honesty is a dialogue within what it is you know. And then she tests you in figuring out if you're curious about the things that you may not know, which is the shadow aspect of what you know, which could be literally 180-degree opposite of the counterintuitive subject of what you know, or it could just be the environment outside of everything else that you don't know outside of the subject. And this is what the High Priestess is in charge of, and the best way that she can address those energies within you is to remind you that she is a derivative of feminine and masculine energy. Yeah, what you feel is feminine energy. What is speaking to you is your own tonality, breaking down the vibrations of having to hear her and listening out to her she energy, and processing it with a masculine attribute, which in you may seem as having done so, having to be interpretive of that is then of masculinity, and it's not. It's of femininity processed through masculinity. Okay, and that energy, however it wants to ring true in your world, will ring true in however it can. So whether it's making itself known with you, which is always the first trigger anyway, or getting you to see the interactions that you have outside of you, whether that is with a partner, many partners, co-workers, your relationships out with others outside of yourself. So she, the high priestess here, is challenging the king and the queen to speak their truths, to understand why they are the said maturity, to be of king and queen status. So you have the Two of Cups. So we understand that there is a union of formality happening with the high priestess and the Two of Cups unifying the journey. All right, the Two of Cups is pretty much saying that we rely on each other, even if sometimes we don't have an eye and eye agreement on each other or with each other. We work well together as a team. There is a beautiful acknowledgement from all these crown chakras being more or less anointed. Gotta go through that chaos for a second. 644. Anointed with, well, one, understanding what it means to protect thy crown, and two, what it means to feel the power of anointing thy crown, and seeing thy worth, and more or less it being your halo. A lot of you're more or less experiencing a lot of like woo-woo energy that is like unexplainable, or you're like, wait, whoa, ether is loud, because then we have the Lover's energy. The high priestess is going to make the biggest introduction to herself right now in this whole entire reading, in regards of, again, feminine and masculine energy, that she is the beekeeper and the bee's knees and the queen bee of all there is. Okay, she's more or less the creator. Okay, and she's in charge for how well you feel and how unwell you feel. She's in charge for how well or unwell interactions between yourself and other people become negotiated or not, and how loving they are, and how charming and everlasting they are, and how loyal it is, and how devoted it is, and how every singular aspect to the formula that wants to be together of unison take each other seriously, starting with the reflection that they see within themselves or outside of themselves, or from inside out to the world. Okay, and the world perspective, seeing that the pretty much the mirror of the world reflecting back to this person, and the high priestess is making sure that every crevice of this song and rhyme is being understood. Like, she really doesn't care how long the story needs to be said over and over in repetition, in order to give credit that it's she energy. And she energy. Woo woo woo. I left the window open on purpose because, one, it's nice for the atmosphere of well, maybe you can, I cannot tell, I don't know, but fresh air, you know? And I do live in a city, so it's very important as well to understand that there is a piece that you can get to without anything being a trigger. You can talk about all the variables that exist within the day, but you're no longer in anxiety, panic, or in need to have to do something about it. And I've conquered that, and I feel very proud to be in that position, and the universe making sure that I stick to what it is that I know and present myself accordingly to others who may need a reminder of some sort in doing what they feel called upon to do. Okay, so She's making it very, very clear how she would like to run things. And the only way that we can gain clarity to that is our relationship to more or less her. So she's testing you in a relationship. She's testing you, again, in a relationship with yourself. What it means for you to understand healing and metamorphosis of time. Okay? Because we have the death card. So, like I said, she's going to repeat this story over and over and over again until you understand what it means to reach the horizon of law of attraction and manifestation, and that it's not masculinity. As long as you follow this channel and my sister channel, her sister channel, there is no he energy that gets credit for what we now have to filter through. We're not giving masculine credit for that. And we're not here to provide emotional coddling to make it ring true, because the derivatives on how well things flow in that fluidity without the need of your concern of acceptance or not. And it's not to say that those upon it or within it are better than anything else. It's more or less, again, a flow. And just like everything, you don't have to fuck with everything. And with doing that, you always have, and with knowing that, you always have the certainty that nothing can control your decisions. Nothing can control your decisions. You can make many decisions that go against what you internally believe. And you realize that doing so over time may cause you to have gotten very uncomfortable within yourself. Maybe you're struggling with internal depression that you haven't been able to talk to anybody with, or PTSD, anxiety, panic attacks, sleep deprivation, nightmares, insomnia, restless leg syndrome, chronic pain, development of new chronic ailments that you never seen coming. Like, ether will always show itself in quote-unquote goodness and quote-unquote badness, because she gives you poison, and then right next to it or in the vicinity, she gives you the very thing or the tincture needed to heal what you think is poison. There's an absolute perfection that the universe has that I think remains to be mystic, while it's very in your face her telling her story about herself. Pardon me 1 second. Okay. Four of Pentacles. So, the best, again, control that you have is the knowing that you can control aspects in life, and most of that have to do with certain choices, whether they're the only choices you have or choices that you're given, essentially choices of the matter, right? And however those choices align to the overall flow of things mattering or not is how well equipped we become. Here's that little tower over here. However, however it is designed for your everyday to unwind itself is part of a conspiracy of knowing that you've chosen that. And then this weird conspiracy gets factualized by certain fragments and chapters of truths that, upon reflection on life, are like, oh shit. Oh, interesting. And a derivative of a truth doesn't make it conspiracy theory anymore. It makes it conspiracy fact. And that's where the ether is much louder. And she doesn't give a shit about what you think in black and white and contractual ways is the best for society and its people. No, even the things that have happened in the judicial courts have been in the unfairness of those either in the courts or those witnessed for them waiting for a verdict to happen, right? The earth and its people and the way they live out their decisions amongst each others at the cost of other people can have a very damning effect for us, the individual, or the bystander who had nothing to do with it. It's like, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union. No, I'm not political. Yes, I am in the United States of A. And boy, is 2024 interesting. 7 of Wands. Yeah, I felt that energy. Protect your own. Protect what you can. Like, I'm hearing, if you don't learn anything new in that dinner gathering or gathering of people that has you how can I explain this? Basically the message, if you're not around if you're not around a crowd of people that you can learn something new of, then you're possibly doing something wrong right now, because there is a possibility to learn something new from the very people that rummage this earth, that are in the back stages and the forerunners, while they're the backstage people that get shit done, that put money in people's pockets. Those are the people we want to talk to. Those are the people that uphold every bullshit that we think that making certain decisions in certain tiers would alleviate those people's struggles or not. Like, actually, no. It's like, you're looking at it completely wrong. You know, to think you're in this position, and then, I'm speaking in code, by the way, to be in this position and make a decision on whom and what it is that you want, thinking that that decision is contingent on that individual or individual's person, place, or thing, to make decisions based on all the derivatives of spectrum of people that are in charge of how things get done in the first place, is exactly the flaw of thinking that being part of the same narrative is a functional pursuit. You will always find people who will attract a crowd, and especially if things have been in a form of annular ritual, you'll definitely find more chances of not an increasing of a crowd rather than a decreasing of a crowd. Okay? It's kind of like how contagions work. That's what I'm hearing. And the interesting part about this is that people are so afraid of more or less I don't know how to explain this. There's so many people who want to do something, and then they hear many people wanting to aim for doing the same thing or the same purpose, so they show up in the masses. Yet when you're like almost the journalist or the investigator within that mass, and you ask people's personal one-on-one opinion, they themselves feel as the passion within that individual seems to outweigh the passion of the mass, because they want to be heard. Their opinion, their story, their version, their perspective, they want it to be known. And one point of that is maybe them wanting to, this is not a one-size-fits-all situation, by the way, but this person may want to then go to the masses thinking, again, sharing that perspective or sharing the room with likeness is going to not only feed their own purpose, but maybe give them an opportunity to have their voice be heard. And then that's the fragility then of knowing that the mass is then an amoeba. And an amoeba has a desire for the whole thing to have a purpose. But the problem with the whole amoeba is that individually, they don't know the actual solution to the issue. So it's an intention to want to bring a louder siren to find a solution. And the placebo effect that could happen is that people showing up in the masses think that in doing so in the numbers is already healing and part of the solution. No, it's actually part of a fucking problem, because it's illuminating in masses what is the problem. It's like many yogis will then tell you, or prophets or whomever will then tell you, don't follow the crowd, watch the crowd. It's the one that is outside of the crowd that is the person that's the wisest, and it's such an interesting, I don't think you need to be philosophical or be in a journey of spiritual enlightenment to understand what the fuck that can mean. If you feel like, I remember being part of Times Square 2011 and wanting to see the ball drop. And I'm like excited for the mass of the amoeba to show up for this opportunity. But then personally, I'm thinking, well, what about the bathroom? What am I going to do? Like, what, am I going to stand that long? Like, there are certain individual aspects that almost make it like a feat to show up to what I intended as a wholesomeness is going to be like a part of an experience. That's an off-colored point to try to bring a different example to the point I'm trying to make. Okay? So individually, at the end of the day, is the key. In my practices, if you were to do some research in the description box of what I do, you'll notice that I am a remote healer. It isn't about that I don't care about people coming in and having in-person session. No, I just understand from also having healed my ailments and my chronic ailments for over 15 years that the lone part is something that I challenged with myself, because I automatically felt isolated. And in that isolation, every time I socialized to try to get connection, it faltered in some sort of lack of the standards of the expectations I may have had, or the trust that I had in certain experts to help me with my ailments and shit like that. Point is, lonesomeness is not a weakness, and to know how to withstand in the very thing that makes you unique is of the utmost importance to me. So I rely fundamentally 1,000% to reteach what it means to be alone, because you enter more or less in this whole existence as a lone aspect. Even if you share the womb with someone else and how to duke it out and who's going to be up first, you are alone in the journey. So to think that you have to have a perfect atmosphere for healing, a perfect aromatherapy for healing, and certain mindset for healing and timing is fucking ludicrous to me. It's ludicrous to me. Okay, so lone is where it is, and I think she, High Priestess here, made that very fucking clear back with 2020. All right, giving us all that PTSD of what the fuck 2020 vision is all about. There's many names and titles for this. All right, it's the Age of Aquarius, the new Yuga cycle. A lot of people may think that at that term we're in the Kali Yuga stage. We're actually not. We're very much in the baby fetus position of the golden age, right? And then we have Age of Cognitive Dissonance. We have the Mayan calendar, death. You know, like there's so many ways to understand that ether has changed. You learn former master Reiki healers. They'll teach you, if they've been masters for over some decades, that to teach students about becoming a master Reiki healer can happen within like less than a year's time, 6 to 12 months, you know? And that's another way that ether and time has expedited. And then you think it's climate change or whatever title, whatever you need to accept that shit is off. And since she's doing it with unemotions and with however she wants to explain her animosity, as in Mother Earth, is how we're all her children. And if we get in the way of her being Mother, we're pissing off Mother. And with the constant masculinity approach, I see why she's pissed. Alright, we have the King of Swords and the Six of Wands coming through. So, again, it's that masculine understanding to what it is that you're connected to and by. And how you're having that conversation with it, which I'm defining here and amongst my channels is she energy. Okay? We have Six of Pentacles. So how do you bring that wisdom of the unknown to a known aspect that you can be comfortable about, while it might be uncomfortable having to do the most uncomfortable thing or the unknown thing? How do you do that, right? And some of you have children, and some of you have family, and some of you believe in connection, and that's what it is. It's human connection. Be a human. Be a hue of man. You are an aspect of a shade of a spectrum of what it means to be part of the Homo sapiens species. Be that. Be that. And get to know 360 perspective of only that first, before you want to be like the kiss ass to somebody else or a know-it-all for something else. Because in that, we automatically should remain humble and know that we do not know everything at any point in stage. And if you have children, they more or less may be able to teach you a lot of things about life, or give you, because they entered, an absolute new ways to revisit former chapters and to relearn about yourself. It's constant rehash and relearning. I'm staring at the 111 at the time. All right, lots of 666 energy here with the lovers energy with Six of Pentacles and Six of Wands. Okay, again, if you're slighted with the uncomfortable verbiage of that, you know, you're unfortunately in a very unfortunate emotional trigger. You know, even if you hate it, and even if you have reasons to believe in why the words or sounds of 666 triggers you so much, the fact that you have an emotional response is reason enough for me to see there's still maturity needing emotional intelligence. All right, Queen of Pentacles, more or less making that also known, where you're learning how to secure your steps moving forward. That's where the Queen of Pentacles is saying you're securing your steps moving forward. Because earlier when I showed this card for the she energy and finding out the pathways to her, that's that groundedness, that's the security, dealing with something new, and allowing that newness to build a relationship with you. One last card. The Five energy, I don't like having it as a last card, but we have the Five of Wands. These are like baby steps, okay? Consider it like you're like baby steps. You might be like in your any age, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all right? Anything new, consider yourself that if people don't accept you in something new because you wanted to hold on to something new, convince yourself that you can express something old into something new, the people that are in your way may not just understand that you're in your beginning toddler steps trying to understand something, you know? Maybe you're fickle. Maybe you are, you know, to the punchline, maybe you've been Democrat for a while and you're voting Republican, or maybe you're Republican for a while and voting Democrat, all right? And in the way is everyone's opinion. Should you voice that? Should you voice that you've done that or doing that or considering? Whoa. But you know damn well you might be part of some social media war and the engagement of whatever curiosities that keep you engaged in whatever, again, politics plays a role in your life. You might understand, oh, interesting, we can have very emotional conversations of drama and talk about this, and I give you my opinion, give that. And as long as we don't tell you exactly how I did it and what I plan to do, we're gonna be okay. That's a false sense of narrative. It's a false sense of being. That's entertaining something, an opportunity, and then turning your back to it and being a completely different type of person. And that's where I'm saying the ether is going to be too loud in your atmosphere to get your fucking shit together and act right. She's right here, she's right there, and she's gonna test you right here, and all of that jazz. Whether you believe it or not, whether you understand or hate your belief or hate other people's beliefs or you hate the injustices, I'm telling you, there is a siren in the air. It's all gonna make you like look up and be like, what the fuck is going on? Alright? And mind you, I said it's all gonna make you look up to see what's going on, not bowing down and slumbering and being sad and then being a victim. No. You're gonna still manage to look up and be like, what the fuck is going on here? And that's good. Because if it's frustration, whatever, that's a good motivator. All right. I have nothing else. I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space. And may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take care.